11. The Arcturian Story of Ascension. As you return to the Crystal Temple, you hear the voice of the Arcturians speaking inside your heart. In the beginning, beings of light without form or individuality created an egg of matter and polarity. Each of the many, who are actually the one, embedded a copy of their essence into the egg, also known as the planet. For many aeons, the beings of light wore the myriad forms that existed on and within their egg planet. At first, the entry of their great light was all but extinguished in the great density of the egg. Then, slowly, over many millennia, the spark of their light began to glow within the dense matter of their form. For more millennia, this glow was a secret held deep inside the being's form, a secret, even to the beings. Finally, this glow crossed an unknown threshold where even the beings began to feel the glow, even though they usually did not see it. In fact, the beings were most likely to place the source of the glow outside of themselves, and even outside of the egg planet. At this point, the beings were likely to worship the glow, which was slowly transforming into a light. Millennia later, some of the beings began to awaken to the knowing that the source of the light was actually within. These beings were frightened by this inner light and usually hid it for fear that others would see the light and also be frightened. In this reality, the newly awakened ones were correct in this assumption, for indeed, many were harmed for daring to recognize that the light was within. It was dangerous to hold this light that the others, primarily the leaders, believed they did not possess. It was a shame that the leaders judged those with the inner light, for they too had an inner light that was hidden behind their fear and their blind worship of an external source of light. Wars were fought over whose external light was the best, the most correct and strongest. During these wars, many beings died. It is too bad that those who died didn't know they possessed an inner light. If they had known, they could have burst forth into a body of light, much greater than the weapons used to kill them. Then, no one and nothing from the egg could have destroyed them. If they had been able to burst forth into their body of light, they would have seen that their egg was an incubation chamber. They would also have known that they could hatch from this egg as soon as they could allow their inner light to burst forth. Unfortunately, some were so frightened by their light that they tried to resist it, and they often damaged their form. The inner light was of a frequency much higher than the matter of the being's form. If the inner light was not recognized and slowly incorporated into their every cell and atom, their bodies could be damaged. This incorporation demanded that the beings maintain a conscious recognition of their inner light and a constant vigil of their thoughts and emotions. Fear was the only enemy, for it closed off the being's awareness of their own inner light. Without the being's patient and constant integration of the light into their form, as well as the release of old patterns, memories and thoughts of fear, the emerging light would again become unconscious to the beings. When this happened, the transformation of matter back to the light progressed in a chaotic manner that caused damage and even death to the form of the beings. Of course, the return to the One was seen only as death to the beings, and others who still denied the truth that they were returning to their true form of light. Unfortunately, those who observed the presumed death often became more frightened. In turn, their fear denied their ability to see that their own symptoms were actually an awakening. Hence, they too became sick or damaged or even died. Fortunately, there are certain portals of awakening, one of which your planet is now entering, where the illusion of reality as the egg planet weakens. These portals are like birth canals in which the beings can slowly and safely become aware of and integrate their great inner light. Within the portal there is also a weakening of illusion, and the truth is that this egg planet is actually an elaborate incubation chamber is revealed to those who are able to see. The portal served as a safe place to awaken in order for the beings to see the parting of the veils of illusion. It had to be relatively free of fear. What relatively free of fear means is that the beings had gained some mastery over their thoughts that created fear and released most of their residue fear, which had become embedded in their form. With freedom from much of their fear and being within the safety of the portals, the beings could more easily remember the unconditional love of the One. You may wonder why we have used the term beings instead of people. As the veils of illusion were slowly or quickly removed, it became evident that the original beings of light created everything. These original beings had sent down a copy of their essence into all the matter that created the form of the egg planet. Hence, animals, insects, rocks, water, and the fourth-dimensional elementals all held the essence of these beings of light. Furthermore, you may think that we, the Arcturians, are talking about Earth when, instead, we are talking about all the planets of our star Arcturus. Yes, dear ones, when you are fully awakened, you will know that all planets and even suns share your process of ascension or hatching from your egg. However, different worlds may have different dramas of awakening. As your personal, planetary and solar egg begins to hatch, the myriad beings of light who volunteered to take form will emerge from their egg in a great burst of light. When we, the Arcturians, began to hatch, only a few felt secure enough to leave the comfort of our egg planet reality. As we did so, for the first time since we had taken form, we were shown the true meaning of unconditional love, divine peace, and the unity of the One. Filled with the glory of love, peace, and unity, our only thought was to return to our egg to assist all our brothers and sisters in awakening. Most of us returned to the type of form we had taken. For example, those of us who had been in the form of what you call human returned to awaken humans. Then there were those who had lived in the form of animals who returned to awaken the animal kingdom. Those who had been plants returned to awaken plants, and those who had made up their earth, air, fire and water returned to their element to awaken the very planet. Those who had remained in the fourth-dimensional aura of the planet returned there to assist in that reality. The most glorious moment was when all of us, whether human, animal, plant, planet, or ether, returned to one great being of light. After millennia upon millennia, we emerged from our cosmic egg as the beings of light that we had always been, even better. Because of our adventures in form, we were wiser, more powerful, and more filled with an unconditional love and compassion than we ever were before our experiences in matter and form. Together, as a group mind, we looked down at our egg planet, solar system, star, in gratitude and love. However, we did not need to return to our egg, for as the one being of the collective light of Arcturus, we knew that our destiny was to find other planets, solar systems, and stars who were also on the threshold of awakening. We decided to wear a form of light body if we chose to reveal ourselves. From being in form ourselves, we knew that other beings of form could more easily accept our assistance if we presented in the illusion of a body. Also, we had been in form for millennia. Therefore, for more millennia, we held a form much as you would put on clothes or enter your home, office, or car. This form made it easier for your awakening ones to perceive us and place their attention on our message. However, even with our illusion of form, many could not perceive us. Therefore, the most courageous and daring of us made the ultimate sacrifice of incarnating into a physical body to assist planets on the edge of a portal to ascension. Since, dear Gaia, the collective being of the egg planet Earth wanted to return to light body, but a majority of her beings were still profoundly asleep, we sent many of our Arcturian beings into the form of humans. We chose the form of human because the animals, plants, land, sea, fire and air were ready to hatch. Unfortunately, the beings in human form were filled with fear of a reality based on conquest, possession, power over others, judgment, and blind faith in the illusion that their light was from an external source. Many of us entered human forms in the last portal opening, the reality of Atlantis. Unfortunately, we were too late to awaken the humans, but we were able to assist Earth enough to save her from destruction. Our brave volunteers then entered the wheel of life and death that surrounds each egg planet before it hatches. Many of them, that is, many of you, were lost for many lifetimes. However, because of your innate Arcturian essence, you were among the first to hear our call to awaken. You were then among the first to begin your process of returning to light body. One by one, you found your personal means to awaken other sleeping ones. Some of you concentrated on healing the great damage the humans have done to the planet. Others focused on healing the damage done to the plant and animal kingdom, and others focused on awakening humans. To make it easier for planets to awaken, we created the form of the Arcturian Corridor. so the portal could be more obvious to the awakening ones. Please be aware that all beings are not in humanoid form. However, a precursor to planetary ascension is that the planetary stewards, whatever their form, turn their attention starward so that their consciousness can expand beyond personal, collective, planetary, galactic, and into cosmic consciousness. It is the cosmic consciousness that signals a readiness to hatch from the egg planet and return to light. Some stewards hatched early to become avatars and awaken others. Unfortunately, most of them became gods and external forms of light to the sleeping ones who could not believe in their own inner light. However, the message of these avatars has served as a light to hold onto in the darkness of a reality filled with fear. Most unfortunately, the ones who are sleeping believe their God is better than other gods and use this belief as an excuse for conquest, possession, power over others, judgment, and war. This cycle seems to repeat in planet after planet. It is common that directly preceding a planetary awakening, that the unhealed wounds formed by a millennia of fear fester into wars and destruction. You are currently experiencing that now. In fact, your last 100 years have been filled with wars. However, those of you who are on the first wave of awakening have released your old wounds of fear. Hence, you are able to feel divine compassion and unconditional love for those who still suffer from the illusion of separation. It is because of this illusion of separation from each other and from the One that they create, or are victims of, violence and war. In fact, some of our very brave ones are actually serving within the very heart of wars in order to create the consciousness of unity in peace. We also acknowledge the sacrifices of the everyday warriors who constantly do battle with their fear to maintain an inner essence of unconditional love. To all these spiritual warriors, we offer our great light, the unified light of all Arcturian, to assist you in the magnificent moment of return to your light-bodied self. In January of 2009, we came to this channel wearing the form of the Arcturian that she is. We then showed her how the illusion of form can burst into light body. Each of you can also meet your Arcturian self, or perhaps yourself from Sirius, Pleiades, Andromeda, Orion, Antares, or elsewhere. In fact, you all have many higher dimensional expressions of yourself in many galaxies and dimensions. In fact, the Galactic Federation, which included all of the above star systems and more, is here to meet you now. Dear ascending humans, we rejoice to see you here in the crystal temple of fifth dimensional Venus, under the wise direction of the Arcturians. We, the higher expressions of yourself, have also overseen your journey of becoming your one self. Every time you integrate a new aspect of your multidimensional self into your perception of self, you greatly expand your consciousness. Many of you have expanded your consciousness and raised your resonance enough to remember some of your fifth dimensional lives, as well as some of your experiences of ascension. Because of this amplification of your resonance, we, the Galactic Federation, are now able to openly communicate with you. Once you, a grounded being, resonate to a frequency of unity, you are able to receive transmissions from the fifth dimension and beyond. We then become very interested in your development in the light and contact all your higher expressions of self so that they may personally assist you. With your first interdimensional communications, it is easier to connect with a higher expression of yourself, for you are of the same soul frequency. Since you are able to maintain a conscious connection to a fifth dimensional expression of yourself, we know that you are ready to join our Federation. Hence, even though you are still holding a vessel on third dimensional Earth, we have come to you today to welcome you to the Galactic Federation. It doesn't matter if you see yourself as only human, for we see you as the great multidimensional being that is your true expression of self. We have introduced ourselves to you to make it easier for you to connect with our frequency. In this manner, you can more clearly receive our messages and translate them into your human language center. When you were still functioning under the control of your ego self, you were bound by the limits of your third dimensional rules of polarity, time, and space. On the other hand, now that your soul self is flying your Earth ship, your reality is currently fluctuating up and down in resonance as you constantly adapt and readapt to the extremely high frequency torsion waves that are now ever present in your reality. From our resonance in the fifth dimension and beyond, we can clearly see all the millions of you who are awakening to the adventure of planetary ascension. As more and more of you are able to receive our communications, we will be increasingly able to transmit messages and instruction to our grounded ones. To the degree that you are able to accept and integrate our higher vibration into your Earth vessel, your life will increasingly resonate to the fifth dimension and beyond. There are those of you who do not wish to return to your fifth dimensional home in the land of unity, peace, and unconditional love. To those of you who are not ready to leave your homes, your loved ones, your careers, your pets, etc., do not be concerned. There is no loss, because there is no leaving. Instead, you are transmuting the very fabric of your reality from the dualism of the third, fourth dimension into the unity of the fifth dimension and beyond. You can alter your reality as quickly or as suddenly as you desire. This is your ascension. You have practiced for this moment in myriad lifetimes and or waited beyond time to participate in this grand moment. Look not to what is happening outside of you. Instead, concentrate on what is happening inside of you. Transmutation begins at the level of personal and planetary DNA, then progresses into your physical body and third dimensional reality. One warning. Whether or not you believe it, you are creating your reality. There is no hiding from this fact, no matter how much you doubt yourself. Doubt and resistance will only make your progress more chaotic. It is best that you own your power within and remember that with this power comes added responsibilities. The best way for you to proceed is to focus primarily on your consciousness. Listen to the voice of your soul self, who guides and leads you throughout every moment. Simultaneously, recognize the illusions of fear and separation as you choose to attend, instead, to the truth of love and unity. Sleep and meditate as often as possible so that you can release old limiting beliefs and allow the seed of your light body to safely grow within you. When your light body was offline, you could see reality only through your 5 senses. But now your expanded perceptions are steadily increasing. As your light body grows stronger within your physical form, it will serve to filter out the illusions of the 3rd, 4th dimension and filter in the truth of the quantum world and the 5th dimension and beyond. Your quantum world will be perceived by your DNA, specifically your junk DNA. The 97% of DNA that has been labelled junk, as its role was then unknown, carries myriad interdimensional wormholes which receive messages from the quantum world. At the same time, the many scalar torsion wave systems within your Earth vessel will receive the higher frequencies of the 5th dimension and beyond. Your opened 3rd eye will then translate these transmissions into your human language so that you can share your message with others. Your grounded Earth vessel actually serves as an antenna which can receive only the frequencies to which it resonates. Hence, as your personal resonance expands, you can receive transmissions from deeper within the quantum world and further into the higher dimensions. Eventually, you will come to the connecting bridge where the deepest quantum reality merges with the highest frequency reality to release all need for space, time, or form. However, please enjoy each step of your exciting return to self. You have chosen, in fact, you stood in line to take a body at this time. In the same manner, we have elected to stand in the wings to assist you in remembering that you are acting in a grand play, as well as to celebrate your grand finale. Now that we have made first contact, we want you to remember that we are available with a thought or an intention. We also wish to remind you that the best carrier wave for any transmission is unconditional love. Therefore, we close our message by sending you unconditional love and a rousing applause for putting on a fantastic show. We welcome you home. Now. Releasing the wounded survivor. Dear one, the Galactic Federation, and specifically the you within that federation, is here to assist in releasing the lowest resonance of yourself, your wounded survivor. We, the Arcturians, are here to guide you in this exercise. Your wounded survivor is the part of your grounded, multidimensional self that holds the sum total of all the memories, thoughts and emotions of all the years that you have sought to survive in the hostile environment of the 3rd dimensional Earth. Your wounded survivor holds the fear-based experiences of barely surviving the many challenges that you have faced in this as well as your other lifetimes. Hence, your wounded survivor may be too fatigued to go that last round of your process. This fatigue can make it difficult for you to raise your resonance above the many temptations and cause you to attend to fear-based stimuli. This wounded component of yourself has been a brave warrior and has fought tenaciously for your right to a happy life. However, the memory of all these battles may be holding down your resonance. We wish to tell you that you can release your wounded survivor into the light of this corridor and allow it to ascend now. We are proudly observing how many of you are holding back your personal ascension so that you can contribute your expanding consciousness and unconditional love to the planetary ascension. In this manner, you are greatly contributing to the great cosmic moment in which Earth, your solar system, and all the Milky Way galaxy will graduate into the next highest expression of self. The individual people are now becoming a planet, while your planet Earth is becoming a star. Your sun is becoming a central sun, and your central sun is becoming a greater central sun. Yes, soon there will be a graduation of cosmic proportions. However, you may feel like someone is holding you back. Some part of you is just too tired to make it past the finish line. This you is your wounded survivor. This you deserves to cross over now, today, this moment, and we are here to show you how this can happen. Please take a moment to look into the eyes of your intergalactic self, the higher expression of you, who is among the Galactic Federation. Allow this you to step forward from the ranks so that you may align with the great multidimensional being to whom you are returning. We say returning as you have never lost yourself. This great being is actually your original self. He sent a copy of its essence into your third dimensional hologram. This copy is you. Your intergalactic self is the you who has already been through the planetary ascension and has come back in time to assist you in your now. We realize that this sentence can be quite confusing to your third dimensional language system. In reality, this future component of yourself is beyond time and space. As he or she is the you who lives in the ever-present now of the one of the fifth dimension and beyond. The resonance of this future self before you will expand even more when you join it fully at the time of your planetary ascension. As you reunite with yourself, you contribute the many lessons you have learned in your many lifetimes as an individual in a polarized reality. Relax a moment so that you can fully experience the vision of the higher expression of self who has stepped forward to meet you. Before you try to see yourself, feel the resonance that precedes it as it moves towards you. we use the pronoun it, as yourself is beyond polarities. Hence, you are androgynous, even though it may present itself as having a male or female form. So, before you try to see yourself, feel the resonance that precedes it as it moves towards you. Is there a certain star that is your homeworld? If so, allow that information to come into your consciousness now. Allow the form of yourself to be a huge radiance of light with a semblance of eyes. In this manner, you will attach to your essence rather than your form. As you look into these eyes, your eyes, feel the deep, unconditional love as it unites you into the one being that you have always been. Raise your hands to the level of your heart and open them to face yourself as you move closer and closer. You are now toe to toe, hand to hand, heart to heart, and eye to eye, as you allow your hands to touch. As your hands connect, feel the interchange of essence from yourself to yourself and back again. Now, just as you released your wounded ones into the vortex when you first entered the corridor, release your wounded survivor into yourself. See the brave warrior who is your wounded survivor as she steps into yourself to be forever free. Turn around as you step into yourself to see your human self through the eyes of your greater self. Feel how you, yourself, embrace your wounded survivor who is now being released to return home now. Release all the struggle and suffering of your wounded self with the power of your unconditional love. Unconditionally forgive yourself and all of the persons, places and things that appeared to cause you suffering. Unconditionally accept all the roles you played in order to survive the myriad fears and illusions of your third-dimensional realities. Looking into the eyes of yourself, feel how your resonance is raised by releasing the you that was still bound by survival consciousness. Know that you will always survive, for you are infinite spirit. Own this total freedom from fear as you say, with love and sweet forgiveness, I release my wounded survivor to the safety of my highest self. The journey, reunion. The sun is high in the Venusian sky as you leave the crystal temple. You feel elated from your experience of releasing your wounded warrior and rush to the pink sands to again unite with your divine complement. As you float towards the cliffs overlooking the waters of light, you feel your complement waiting for you. Your sojourn to the separation of the third-dimensional earth realities has been challenging, and you long to again become one. You feel the cool pulsation of the waters of light as you approach the cliffs overlooking your special cove. In your Venusian light body, you have 360-degree vision, so you take a moment to absorb the panoramic view. Behind you is the crystal temple, high atop the red mountain. You see many of your dear friends still entering and leaving through the temple's diamond doors. The beautiful flowers of the magnificent floating garden surround the temple. These flowers radiate fifth-dimensional colors that are not known in the lower worlds. The flowers, as well as their plants, have intelligence, as does all life in the fifth dimension. Fairies and other small creatures live in the garden, and all of this life telepathically communicates with each other and with you. Off to your right is the radiant multicolored glow of the Crystal City, and to your left is the evergreen forest, the small towns where the Venusians live when they are not visiting the Crystal City. Deep love and contentment fill you as you take in the Venusian landscape. During your many earth lives, a great wound was created in your heart and in your consciousness. You released this wound in the temple, but you feel you will need to continue to love it free. Perhaps when you join into one again, you will be able to totally release this wound. As you arrive at the cliff, You peek over the edge and see your divine complement waiting for you on the warm sands below. You take a moment to absorb the beauty around you before you go down to join your complement. You have spent so much time on Earth that you have to remind yourself that on the 5th dimension you can float down there as gracefully as a feather. You can also fly great distances if you choose. You can will yourself to a desired location as well and be there instantly by focusing your attention on that experience and surrendering to its pull. You smile, remembering how hard you had to work for whatever you wanted in the 3rd dimensional lives. On the other hand, in the 5th dimension, you can instantly create any experience, object, or location that you desire. As you breathe in the warm emanations from the waters of light, you desire nothing more than to be one with your complement. You lean forward over the cliff and allow these emanations to carry you to the shore. Your complement stands, arms open so that as one you can heal the old scars that had been opened by your individual visits to the 3rd dimension. Let us merge as one, you say. I want the memory of our merging to be strong in my heart when I return to the 3rd dimension. You face each other, eye to eye and heart to heart. Raising your hands, you place your palms together to create a circular connection from one heart to another. You stare deeply into each other's eyes and feel your frequency accelerate as you connect your auras into one. You can feel a tingling that starts at the tips of your toes and gradually rises through your bodies, joining two halves of a whole into one complete unit. By the time the tingling reaches your joined hearts, you are floating higher and higher in the Venusian atmosphere. Then suddenly there is a flash of light and you are deep in outer space. Venus is a glowing orb far beneath you, and you are one speck of light surrounded by many stars. Gradually, one star comes closer and closer. You float towards it as well. The star becomes a swirling vortex directly before you, and you are pulled into it. You feel a spiraling sensation as the vortex surrounds and transports you. In a burst of light, you are in the 6th dimensional solar system of Arcturus. Once within the solar system, a certain planet pulls you toward it. Then in a flash you are there. The inhabitants of this planet live in units of 32 to 40, known as pods. The members of each pod are individuated consciousness, joined into one unit. The pod to which you are drawn has created a hologram with a rhythm of inflow night and outflow day, in preparation for their planned mission to come to Venus and, eventually, to Earth. It is early dawn, and the sun is just rising above the horizon, heralding the beginning of an outflow cycle. Gaia has called for assistance again. She is ready to raise her resonance into the 5th dimension, but too many of her humans still sleep. This pod will first journey to 5th dimensional Venus to become accustomed to the lower vibration. Some will then move onto 3rd dimensional Earth when they have learned to survive in a lower density. And some will stay on 4th and 5th dimensional Venus to act as guides for those who travel to Earth. All the members of the pod are like the fingers of one hand. Each is individual in the collective consciousness, but unified in awareness and purpose. All are androgynous. In fact, they are beyond the concept of gender as it is known on the lower dimensions. The adventure of answering Gaia's call is beginning. Their leaving holds no fear or sadness, but these emotions will not be a part of their awareness until they enter the 3rd dimension. You feel a harmonic resonance with this pod, and especially with one portion of this united pod. Could this portion of the one pod be a higher expression of yourself? In response to your question, this portion moves out from the one and creates a form. The form is made of light and looks like a star that a child would draw. There are 2 radiations that come down from the middle, somewhat like legs, and 2 radiations coming out from the middle, somewhat like arms. The form has a glorious crown of radiance, reminiscent of a head, and where there would be a heart is a vortex, much like the Arcturian Corridor. This form is fluid and mutable and seems to exist only to impart a message to you. Yes. You suddenly know this being is a higher expression of you, which usually exists as formless, pure consciousness. The one of you and your complement move towards the star being in acceptance of its communication. As you merge into its essence, you burst into myriad expressions of light. Instantly, the star being is gone. Arcturus is gone. All form, all thought, all emotion, gone. Back on Venus, you and your complement are again 2. You drop your hands and look into each other's eyes, your own eyes, and smile. That was a modified excerpt from Reconstructing Reality by Susan Carroll.